On this episode, all the ways that you're wrong and being a bit of a dick about the house you're looking at. This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey and this is episode 96 of the Ask Jason Show. And today we're going to talk about something that's been on my mind recently because I've been showing houses over the last little bit to some clients of mine, and they've all bought actually, except for one, so I'm going to need some new clients soon. So, you know, if you want to buy a house, holla at your boy. That's such a weird thing to say. But on my Flavor Flav. Do you remember his show? Flavor of Love? How terrible. How many of those women do you think actually wanted to, like, have a relationship with your boy? Now, there was also A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila. Do you remember that one? How many of those guys do you think were actually... Okay, so you think they were in it for the money too. Interesting. Speaking of gold, look what Joe did to my mug. A little gold K. With what? There, okay. A little gold K. Do you see it? Yeah. Outlined in black. I mean, if you're gonna have a K... I keep blowing up here. Give me a second. What are you doing? Oh, somebody just texted me one of these. They asked me what kind of day I was gonna have, and I'm like, I'm gonna try hard to make it a big day, a productive day, and I got one of these texts back. Anyway, showing houses. Yeah, let's get back to what we're doing here. Sometimes people see things that they think mean something, and I guess it's possible that it could, but usually it don't. So here is a little bit of a list. This is not a complete list. This could potentially be added on to over and over again, but here's a few things that I've noticed that people see in a house that they think means something when they should just shut up. Walk into a house and there's a bunch of candles lit. Oh, that's so nice. And it smells like peaches and cream. And the buyer's like, oh, what are they hiding? What stinks here? Why does this house stink? What stinks in this house that they gotta light candles? But sometimes people just want their house to smell nice because, you know, olfactory senses are tied to positive memories and they want you to have a good association with seeing, yeah, but they're hiding something. No. The biggest problem with people having candles lit in their house when you go for a viewing is that they lit candles in a house and then left because candles are fire. So they like lit the house on fire and just left knowing that a stranger danger was about to visit. That's the worst part of that. That's the worst part of that situation. Let's talk about another one. What's another one? Hot day, all the windows are open. Nice breeze blowing through the house, keeping it nice and cool, which is a bad thing. We talked about this on the last episode. This place got circulation issues. I'm sorry, what? All the windows, and it's usually Dad. Dad does this one. Dad, you've seen the house 6 times. Dad's in from around the bay for 7th, and he's probably related to me because I'm from around the bay. That's not how the bay works, arseholes. And yeah, circulation system's problem here in circulation. Is the air exchanger. Like, I'm sorry, sir, why? I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong. You've been around, you've been in construction, I assume, because, you know, you're acting like you do. Can you explain to me, like, where you got that idea? Because maybe you're right, and I can investigate it for you. I know your little girl means a lot to you. And, well, windows open. Why would you have windows open? Well, sir, like you in particular are sweating profusely. It is a hot day. I can see your nipples. Your shirt is so wet. The windows are just open. It doesn't mean the place is damp or it stinks or any of these things. Sometimes it's just nice that... Is this window open? That window is open behind you. Joe? Yeah, that window is open because Joe's house is stanky and dirty and gross. But it's not. The house is lovely. It's Joe that's stanky and dirty and gross. He's laughing. He's laughing. Are you laughing? You're laughing. What's another one? Dehumidifier. There's a dehumidifier on in the basement. This house got water problems. What? This dehumidifier that takes water out. I'm like, well, yeah, and that's a problem. No, that's not a problem. Maybe the people who are here have asthma, and damp air is bad for them. You don't draw conclusions about stuff like that. Yeah, but why else would you have a dehumidifier? I used to have a closet in the house that I lived in that had a dehumidifier on it, and that was where we would hang all of the clothes that needed to be hung to dry. So the moisture kept out of the rest of the air was always in that closet, and dehumidifier ran, and that was it. That's why the dehumidifier was there. But we didn't hide it in the closet all the time. Sometimes it was just out in the room. Like, so no, these things aren't... Oh, here's the king. Here's the king. There's a sump pump in the basement. No, can't buy that. Sump pump. Can't buy that. It's just, sorry, why? Well, that means there's water problems. No. This means there's not water problems. This solves all potential future water problems. Why do you, that's like, I gotta find an example of something that I can liken this to. I'm usually good with these analogies. So the sump pump is preventative maintenance. That's a good thing. Because do you remember Hurricane Igor? That was a big one. Hurricane Igor was like snowmageddon of rain. Like it was a big one. Like that was a lot of rain. If I had, you know, see, that actually makes sense. English is so crazy. If I had a sump pump in my basement of the house I owned during Igor, I would not have had to. I think everybody knows what I'm trying to say. I'm getting confused with all of the heads. Anyway, sometimes the stuff you see is just there. And people aren't trying to get ya. Nobody's trying to get ya. That's not what's happening. Some people just like Glade plugins. Some people just like Glade plugins. That's just what it is. They just like their Glade plugins. And some people just like sump pumps. They just like them. Maybe the house that they grew up in flooded constantly. And they wanted to get it fixed, but they were afraid that if they put a sump pump in, nobody would buy it. They would rather just the recurring history of water in the basement. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, fresh paint. So you're walking down the hall and you're about to walk into the kid's bedroom. And you go to the window and the trim around the window is a fresh, like mid-gloss white. And the buyer says, "Happened here." I'm sorry, what? "Happened here, why is this painted?" Well, because they were getting their house ready to sell, and fresh paint is more appealing than like non-fresh paint. What's the opposite of fresh paint? Stale paint? That can't be right. Anyway, yeah, but something must have happened. I bet this window leaks, and then they painted it because see what had happened was when it had rained, and then they had dribble, and then it was a stain, and then they had painted it. No, man. Like, I got a kid. I'll tell you exactly what happened here. There was a kid who was like picking his nose or his bum or something and rubbed it all over the thing, and it was sticky, and it was food, and it was Jolly Ranchers, and they couldn't, it was easier to just paint the damn thing than it was to clean it, because kids are gross. They're gross. Kids are gross. I got one. I love her. She's gross. And sometimes I would rather just paint the whole house than clean up after her gross ass. And that's the truth. Sometimes the stuff you see is just stuff. It don't mean anything. Stop telling yourself stories. Trust the professionals. That's all that I gotta say for today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you. Ski-doodle? Skadoodle. Ski-doodle? Skadoodle. Skadoodle? Ski-doodle. How do you say it? Okay, sorry.